How can marketing agencies use privately trained AI models to give their creative teams superhuman capabilities? In this episode of Me and My AI, I'm interviewing Carson Morell, the co-founder and COO of Arcbound, a full-service agency for thought leaders. Stick around to see how they're using AI at Arcbound to augment their writers and create even more value for their clients, and how you can do the same with your own personal AI.
The easiest for us, and actually where we've started, are those clients who have years and years and years of material, and Personal AI offers a training solution. And so we're actually able to just dump all those assets over to Personal AI, and then the model is trained the next week, and we're able to start rolling with it. So I mean, that's been the most ideal for the clients who have a lot of it. And if they don't, we just start from scratch.
Oh my gosh, I'm just reflecting on all of the time savings that this must be for you and the team compared to onboarding and prepping and getting writers and creatives ready for each new client. Welcome back to Me and My AI. This interview series features leaders and business owners who are training their own personal AI to engage with their memories and proprietary information in unique and scalable ways. I'm your host, Marissa Brassfield, and today it's my pleasure to interview Carson Morell, the co-founder and COO of Arcbound, a full-service personal branding platform for thought leaders to achieve maximum impact. Carson, welcome. I'm so excited to be with you today.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
You know, I've got to acknowledge this up front. Marketing agencies are notoriously competitive, and for many, their success and their survival is based on the strength of their messaging and the quality of their experimentation. So with that context, I want to thank you for giving us a look behind the scenes today. So let's kick off. How did you and Arcbound get into AI, and what brought you to collaborate with Personal AI?
Yeah, I think like anybody else right now, it's sink or swim. You have to adopt AI to be as scalable and efficient as possible. There's so many opportunities to build it into the business. So I think no different than any other business owner, we're always looking for ways to incorporate it, evaluate the best tools. For us specifically, given that we create a lot of written content, we had been searching for a tool that would allow us to train a language model on a specific client's voice and tone. And through lots of trial and tons of failure, we finally found a solution that worked. We met Personal AI through a friend of ours, Francis West, and that was kind of the beginning of the collaboration.
So cool. How are you guys using AI at Arcbound now?
Yeah. So we, with our content, keeping written content as high quality as possible in our client's voice and tone is one of the most important pieces of the work that we do. And again, finding a solution that could help us maintain that has been super important. Now, lots of our clients have mountains of source material, years of social content. They have books, they have talks, they have transcripts, manuscripts, everything that we could need. And so the more that they have, the more we're able to lean into AI to help them kind of scale their voice and again keep it in line with again voice and tone. So we've begun using Personal AI for some of those clients who have mass amounts of existing material to train a model on their voice and help scale content and create, how do we take a book or an article and turn it into social content, or take a new concept and have them speak to it based on how we've trained the model already.
I love that. And so, of course, I trained my personal AI on my own past writing. And so that use case is perfect and ready built for everybody. But another part of my professional background was ghostwriting for thought leaders. And I'm smiling as you share this because the old days, the before times were really hard. You've got the brand briefs, you have the whole tone and voice documents that are different for every client. And then whoever is writing for that person or drafting in this case, you're getting into the mindset, and it's this whole like cognitive load to go from writing for one client to another because the tone is completely different. How are your writers and your creatives experiencing this teamwork and collaboration with the AI you've trained?
Yeah, great question. So I think at first, like especially with writers, like hearing about AI is a scary thing. Writers love to write, And for us, we wanted to introduce it in a way that's like, hey, here's how you can be more effective and spend more time being creative and strategic with content versus writing things that have already been written. Especially with ghostwriting, our clients have said many things, and they've said a lot of the things they want to say. It's about how can we say it again and differently in different formats. So we shared with our team, we're trying to help you build kind of the Iron Man suit for yourself as a writer, and how can we supercharge you to produce more, and again have more time to be creative. And so at first interaction, it's daunting, and it's like, oh, this is a lot, it's going to be a lot to train this. But what we didn't have with every other solution we tried that we did have with Personal AI was kind of this click moment where after we worked with Personal AI to train the model, the writer would start producing content, and it was like, oh wow, this is actually helpful, and it's cutting our time in half, for this client or that client. And now because of that, I can spend more time brainstorming, or spend more time being creative on behalf of the client, right? So there's a lot of good that's come from it. Um, and yeah, I think overall it's heading in the right direction.
There is so much time freed up and efficiencies freed up on the part of the client, because just to get spun up on someone's works and their perspectives on things, you're reading things, you're watching things. This is a place where AI can come in and shortcut that significantly. There's a lot of fear, and I'm glad you mentioned this Superman or this Iron Man suit, because there's a lot of fear around automation replacing human jobs with marketing AIs. And you see all the use cases and specialty tools where, generate a zillion ideas, or here's a zillion campaigns. But the way that you guys are using your AI is very different. It's really about augmenting and freeing up your human creatives so that they do what they do best. How have you noticed that improve either the campaign results, the innovation? What are some of the business results you've seen?
Yeah. I think just to speak to your first point, I think with a lot of agencies or content producing firms that produce lower quality, mass produced content, AI is going to replace writers 90%, because they're able to pump out good enough content. For high quality writing that is for individuals like the ones we work with, where the content needs to be spot on in their voice and tone, you can't replace the writers. And um, kind of the vision that we have for it is that tools like this actually increase the earning potential of super high quality writers. It's the path to producing more content and earning a higher salary because we're able to produce more output for the people that we work with.
The other part of this is one of my other curiosities is what business results you've seen as a result of adapting. Have you seen increased growth or the ability to experiment more or faster?
Yeah, it definitely comes down to like creating space for experimentation strategy. We are able to pivot faster too. Like there are tons of new content strategies that come out, and when the slowdown is no longer producing that content or as much of that content or spending as much time on that content, we're able to look at the framework, lock in on the strategy, and then producing the writing is a much smaller piece of the equation. So I think because of that, we are able to produce content that performs better, jump on trends faster. I think it's really just like speed to adopting new tactics and strategies and being able to keep up with how fast things are moving.
Which is everything right now. There's so much happening, and especially because you're managing thought leadership strategies, and so much of it is custom to each person and where they are in the market and who they are. And I imagine that plays into how you tweak and adjust to what you're seeing out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of curiosity, how do you see your personal AI evolving at Arcbound over the next, let's say, 1 to 3 years?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think like the the first thing that comes to mind is we work with clients with tons of material. We work with clients with not a lot of material. And so I think for clients who are starting from lower volumes of source material, we're going to see their personal AIs become more accurate and more capable over time. And then, of course, like spreading this out across the 55 plus clients that we work with, it changes a lot of things across the portfolio of clients. As we look at, video AI and creating avatars of our clients, there's really interesting opportunities for creating conversations between clients that wouldn't have happened otherwise, and dialogues, and posing a topic with maybe two individuals who wouldn't have otherwise had time to speak to one another. Well, how can we have their personal AIs talk to each other? So I think there are interesting media implications, like podcasts with two avatars. There are fun things like that I think we're excited about, and that are on the roadmap.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that. Just scanning your client base. I'm like, there's so many fascinating humans. Oh my goodness. Well, one of the other curiosities I have is when you are talking to clients or prospective clients and you mention how you're working with AI, what are some of those kind of early fears or hesitations that people have around using and adopting AI for their own work?
Yeah, I think the first thing is like the immediate reaction, especially for um, a service like ours, is is the quality going to go down? Am I getting less for what I'm paying for? Um, and again, the answer is no. We're freeing up time to be more strategic, more creative, and that I think usually assuages some of the concerns. I think one of the other things is on the voice and tone. Like, are we going to lose that? Is it no longer going to sound like me? If you don't correct the responses that you get out of the personal AI model as you go, then yeah, that is what's going to happen. But our team is trained to be diligent about editing and correcting the model and the responses that we get as we go. And as long as we stay on top of that, it's not going to deviate from the level of quality that we've wanted to have. I think the last piece too is the client starts using the personal AI for themselves and seeing how it can respond to emails or comments or whatever. And then I think like once they get to harness the tool too, that's also where we see kind of the light bulb moment, and it's a win for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has their moment where they go, "Oh, okay, I can see how this can save me time." I had one a couple of weeks ago when my project manager was creating bonuses for a course, and she sends me this big long list of questions, and I was like, "Hey, why don't you head in and ask my personal AI these questions?" And she did, and she generated all these bonuses, and I was so impressed by the content and the quality, and to your point, the tone. What's the process of training the AI for individual clients? You spoke to some of this throughout, but is there a standardized kind of process you guys have adopted?
Yeah, there's kind of two routes we go. The first route is if it's a client without too much existing material, we'll plop in any of the text, the transcripts that are needed, and we'll start there. And then it's just about, again, being diligent about uploading every piece of written material that's written by that client to train the model over time. Um, the route that's been the easiest for us, and actually where we've started, are those clients who have years and years and years of material, and personally I offers a training solution, and so we're actually able to just dump all those assets over to personal AI, and then the model is trained the next week, and we're able to start rolling with it. So I mean that's been the most ideal for the clients who have a lot of it, and if they don't, we just start from scratch.
Oh my gosh, I'm just reflecting on all of the time savings that this must be for you and the team compared to onboarding and prepping and getting writers and creatives ready for each new client. Just because you've got to gather all the material anyway, and this really flips how you prep before you can even write the first thing. And so I can imagine how you're instead the time gets reallocated to brainstorming and strategy and developing really remarkable ways for that thought leader to show up in their market.
Yeah, Yeah, it does. It saves a ton of time, and I'd say it's a head start in a lot of ways. It allows us to focus a few steps ahead.
Amazing. Any words, Carson, for um, agency owners and leadership who are watching this and thinking about their own AI strategy? What advice would you share?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's been hardest for us is finding the balance between waiting for the right solution and acting on like what exists now, right? New tools come up every week, and it's easy to say like, okay, now we need to adopt that one and that one and that one. Um, and I think like holding out until there's one that feels right and like an immediate large unlock for you. I think that's an important piece that we found with personal AI and some of the other tools that we use is like really waiting for that right click. And then I think also partnering with firms and technology that are iterating and improving as fast as the market is. Because once you like lock in and you adopt, you are kind of stuck. It's harder to switch courses. And so what's been great about personal AI is you're adding features and updates fast as the general market is. And so we're not falling behind. Whereas with some other tools, like it's easier to latch onto something and then the competitor tool is actually better, a week later. And so making sure that the pacing of the innovation of the tool that you partner with is super important.
Oh, yeah. I was just speaking with Sharon yesterday about the voice function on my AI. And so, as we get to launch that, having the voice component is so, so much fun. Um, Carson, I know that there are some Arcbound clients who will be releasing their personal AIs in the weeks and months to come. Can you tell us about a few?
Yeah, I'm not going to name specific, can't name specific clients, but we will be working with our clients to roll out some features for eventually like a chatbot feature for their websites, or just the landing page to be able to go and interact with them. So soon enough, once they're live, happy to share.
I had to try.
Yeah,
Well, you guys, thank you so much to our audience and also to you, Carson, for sharing a bit more about how Arcbound is thinking about AI. I look forward to more conversations with you and the team and your clients as this all continues. And I just want to thank you again for being with me today.
yeah. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome. All right. Take care, everybody. See you on the next episode.